Clark. Slings it over to Hull, wide open three, she got it!
The Indiana Fever aren't just turning heads, they're flipping the entire WNBA script. Last year, they were a team struggling to find their rhythm, stuck in the shadows of powerhouse franchises. Now, they're suddenly at the centre of the league's most intriguing storylines, and Lexie Hull, one of the team's most determined young players, isn't shying away from this seismic shift. She's speaking up, embracing the challenge, and making it clear that she's ready to compete in a completely redefined roster filled with championship-caliber talent. This isn't your typical sports transformation, this is a full-scale takeover. The Fever are making aggressive moves, and their lineup is stacked with names that demand attention. Lexie Hull's reaction to all these changes is a refreshing reminder that even when the stakes are raised, true competitors rise to the occasion. But what exactly has caused this sudden resurgence in Indiana? Let's break it down. A bold new roster. Let's talk about the new faces. Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner, and Sydney Colson. These are names that carry weight in the WNBA. We're talking all-stars, champions, and players with deep playoff experience. For a team like Indiana, which has long been searching for stability and leadership, this is a monumental shift. Hull is well aware of the significance of these additions. The leadership that's coming in is going to make a huge difference, she said in a recent interview. The experience, the championship mentality, it's what we need. When you've been part of a rebuilding franchise, those words hit differently. Hull knows the pain of grinding through losing seasons and the frustration of putting in the work only to fall short. Adding players who know how to win. That changes everything. Sydney Colson. Perhaps the most intriguing addition to the Fever's lineup is veteran guard Sydney Colson. If you followed her career, you know she brings much more than just stats to the court. Colson is a leader, an entertainer, and a fierce competitor who elevates team culture wherever she goes. Her time with the Las Vegas Aces showcased her ability to contribute both on the court and in the locker room, helping build a championship atmosphere that led to the Aces' dominance in 2022. Amber Cox, Indiana's general manager, made it clear why the Fever pursued Colson. Sydney is a proven veteran in our league, Cox said. She brings a championship pedigree to the Fever, adding depth to our point guard position. With Caitlin Clark expected to be the focal point of the team's offense, Colson's role becomes pivotal. She's the reliable veteran who can step in, run the offense, and bring defensive intensity when called upon. But her impact goes far beyond the X's and O's. Colson's energy is contagious. Whether it's in practice, on the bench, or in the locker room, she keeps her teammates engaged and motivated. That's invaluable for a team looking to establish a winning culture. Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham is a straight-up baller with a dynamic career both on and off the court. She's now making waves with the Indiana Fever after a huge 4-team trade in 2025. But let's rewind for a sec. Before her WNBA days, she was a star at the University of Missouri where she played 4 seasons and became the highest ever draft pick from the program when the Phoenix Mercury snagged her as the 13th overall pick in 2019. During her time with the Mercury, Sophie earned a rep as a fierce competitor, deadly shooter, and all-around spark plug. But she's more than just a basketball player. In December 2022, she added analyst to her resume, becoming a regular on the Phoenix Suns TV coverage, breaking down the game like a pro. Oh, and did I mention she's also a model? Talk about a triple threat. Now with the Fever, Cunningham's experience and fiery energy are set to be game changers for the team. She's the kind of player who isn't afraid to get physical, hit clutch threes, and hype up her squad. DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard. DeWanna Bonner and Natasha Howard are absolute game changers for the Indiana Fever. Let's talk facts. These two are WNBA champions with resumes that scream winner. Bonner's got 2 titles under her belt and is known for her ability to light up the scoreboard from literally anywhere on the court. She's versatile, clutch, and can guard multiple positions. Howard, a defensive powerhouse. She's a former Defensive Player of the Year and brings that unstoppable energy in the post that can turn a game around in seconds. She's also a champion, which is huge for a team looking to take that next step. This isn't just about their talent though, it's about their championship mindset. These are players who know how to win when the stakes are high, and that's something the Fever have been missing for years. Lexie Hull even admitted how valuable it is to have teammates who've been there before, and she's not wrong. When you've been through playoff battles and come out on top, you bring a whole different level of leadership to the table. Younger players like Hull will benefit massively from having veterans like Bonner and Howard show them the ropes. Last season, the Fever struggled to find their footing. They had promising young talent, but they lacked that crucial experience to close out games and handle pressure. Now, with Bonner and Howard in the mix, that's no longer an issue. These two aren't just here to pad the roster, they're here to teach, lead and win. And with the Fever's new roster shaping up, the expectations are officially different. This isn't just a team looking to improve anymore, this is a team that's gunning for wins, and Bonner and Howard are key to making that happen. The Caitlin Clark effect. You can't talk about women's basketball right now without mentioning Caitlin Clark. The buzz around her is so massive that analysts have even coined a term for it, the Caitlin Clark effect. So, what does that mean? Basically, it's all about her insane talent, electric playing style, and magnetic personality are driving record-breaking attendance, TV viewership, and public interest in women's hoops. Let's break it down. Back in 2023, Caitlin was already making waves at Iowa during the NCAA tournament. She was dropping threes from what seemed like another zip code, setting scoring records and leading her team to the national championship game. That game, yeah, it pulled in nearly 10 million viewers, the most in women's college basketball history at the time. People who never watched a women's game were suddenly glued to their TVs just to see what she'd do next. Fast forward to 2024, and things only got wilder. Iowa's games sold out like never before, and when they played an exhibition at Kinnick Stadium, they packed in over 55,000 fans, setting a world attendance record for women's basketball. Ticket prices for her games skyrocketed, with some going for as much as $400. That's not a typo. Then came her WNBA debut with the Indiana Fever. The hype followed her straight to the pros. Her first game shattered viewership records, and teams across the league started moving games to bigger arenas just to fit all the fans wanting to watch her live. Cities hosting her Fever team saw attendance records crumble, and economists even calculated millions in new revenue tied directly to Clark's games. What makes Caitlin such a draw? Sure, her highlight reel shots and insane scoring are part of it, but it's more than that. She connects with people in a way that feels real. Fans see her love for the game, her competitiveness, and her sheer joy on the court. Some folks compare her to Taylor Swift for her ability to command a devoted fan base, while others say she's like a modern Larry Bird in how she elevates the whole sport. She's not just playing the game, she's changing it. And if you ask anyone who's been lucky enough to see her play, they'll tell you, women's basketball will never be the same. Let's be real. Before Caitlin Clark arrived, would players like Colson, Bonner, Cunningham and Howard have signed with Indiana? Probably not. Clark's presence has completely altered the perception of the Fever, turning them into a destination for top talent. That's what happens when a generational player lands in your city. Suddenly, everyone wants to be part of something special. The Fever's management recognised this opportunity and wasted no time in surrounding Clark with a roster built to contend. They didn't just add talent for the sake of it. They carefully selected players with championship experience and strong personalities. This isn't just a collection of names, it's a team with a purpose. Hull's honest take on change. Hull didn't hold back when reflecting on the massive roster overhaul. Every season things change, but this year feels huge, she admitted. After spending years building chemistry with the same core group of players, Hull now faces the challenge of adapting to an entirely different team dynamic. And she's not alone. The returning players will all need to find their footing in this new environment. But Hull isn't backing down. She sees this as an opportunity to grow and prove herself. "I think we're just so excited," she said. "I'm still getting used to it, heading into my 4th year. Every single season, every team looks so different with the changes across the league and free agency. It's hard to keep it all straight, but finally getting to our final roster and seeing what that's going to look like, I'm excited." With a revamped roster come heightened expectations. This is no longer about gradual improvement, it's about winning. That's a big adjustment for players like Hull, who have been with the Fever through their struggles. Now she faces the challenge of proving she still belongs in the rotation amid fierce competition. Hull knows the stakes, but instead of being intimidated, she's embracing the challenge. Her comments suggest a player who is ready to step up and contribute in any way she can. "We're just taking it one game at a time," she said. "I'm excited to get out there and compete." What makes this roster shakeup even more exciting is that it's not just about adding talent, it's about finding the right talent. The Fever aren't throwing together a roster and hoping for the best. They've carefully selected players who not only bring skills but also the right energy and personality. Hull's excitement about the leadership coming in speaks volumes. When you've been part of a team struggling to find its identity, you understand the importance of chemistry and veteran presence. This roster is a perfect blend of youth and experience, with proven winners who know how to handle the pressures of the WNBA, the pressure to perform. With all these new additions, the expectations for the Fever have skyrocketed. Last season was about learning and growth. This season, it's about winning. There are no more excuses. The Fever have assembled a roster filled with talent, experience, and leadership. Now it's time to deliver. But building a winning team on paper is one thing. Making it work on the court is a whole different challenge. Chemistry takes time, roles need to be defined, and egos have to be managed. The Fever will need to figure out how to make all these pieces fit together. If they get it right, they won't just be a playoff team. They'll be a legitimate championship contender. Through all of this, Hull remains focused and determined. Her reaction to the roster changes shows maturity and a competitive spirit. She knows that she has to earn her minutes and prove that she belongs on the court, even with all the new talent around her. That kind of mindset is what separates good players from great ones. Hull isn't content to just be part of the team, she wants to make an impact. And with veterans like Coulson, Bonner, and Howard in the mix, she has the perfect mentors to help her elevate her game. Lexie Hull's seen the team through its toughest times and now stands at the forefront of their transformation. With a redefined roster and sky-high expectations, Hull is ready to embrace the challenge and help lead the Fever to success. But what do you think? Did the Indiana Fever make the right moves with their off-season signings? How do you feel about Lexie Hull's response to the changes? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the WNBA's biggest moves. This season is going to be insane, and we'll be here covering it all. Don't miss it.